Alright, so got a couple goodies in the mail. These ones are coming from TEQ Off-Road, and it's their modular accessory mounts. I got one for the center console and one for just above the, I guess, the bezel for the HVAC controls. Already opened them up, and these are pretty well made pieces. I did reach out to them prior to purchasing this to see if they had one for the Hilux Surf, which is backwards. Normally the cup holder's over there in your normal Forerunners, but in the Hilux Surf it's over here because it's right-hand drive. So either way, I ordered the one that doesn't allow for the use of the cup holder, and if I really find it to be menacing, I'll just cut it up. But I did reach out to them, ask them if they had something available for the Surf. I didn't get a reply. No big deal. So I'm pretty sure these ones will fit just fine. Looks like it will. Everything's the same basically. It's just everything's slightly just reversed. So I'm gonna be installing that, and another thing I got is I wanted a clean way to control the lights and stuff I'll be installing in the future. And what I got was the aux beam controller. It's the 6-gang controller, and what I'm hoping is to mount it down here somewhere. You know, either side doesn't matter. Right now I got the old school cigarette lighter. I'm going to try to convert or maybe make a plate to put some USB ports there. And while I have this apart, I got to build a plate right here to mount my gauges. One for exhaust temperature, one for my engine temperature. So that's what I'm going to be up to today. Alright, so I got things plenty tore apart. As you can see, I got the Auber gauges. Leads here ran. This one for the temp sensor is going to be probably too short. I'm going to try to, I hate doing it, stretching it, because it looks like absolute crap. You can see I have it ran over the top of the motor here down to where the port is and through there. This is not permanent, this is temporary. It's just to see if I indeed do like the gauges, and how well they work. If, you know, if it's what I want, it's the way I want it, then I'll get the longer lead, which I believe is too long, which is why I got the shorter one. But I can just bundle it up just like the one for the exhaust gas temperature gauge lead. Bundle it up, but I got everything pulled out here. I'm not sure what this, I think it's for a wireless remote, I think is what it was for, because it wasn't officially attached properly to anything. It was just kind of hanging out behind the radio. But yeah, everything's looking pretty good, so I'm gonna get back to it and I'll show you guys my next step. Alright, so I got the modular mount for the bezel. I had to modify it. I had to put 2 holes over here versus the 2 holes that would normally be on there for the US spec models. I got the holes drilled in the bezel, so I just need to put the hardware on. Alright. Alright, so pretty simple install. I guess my only gripe would be is that the hardware is fractional. This is a metric vehicle. I just feel like having everything uniform as far as having tools on hand. I only intend on carrying metric tools in my vehicle when it's fully done, kitted out. Another thing is probably just because this might be an aftermarket bezel, but some of the hardware is too short to even get into the nylock portion of these nuts. I don't know if it's because it's the JDM vehicle or if it's just because the hardware is indeed too short. Only two gripes. Other than that, it's a straightforward, simple product. If I had the stuff to bend it up and cut all the little accessory holes for mounting stuff, I'd do it myself, but I don't. So yeah, let's get on with the rest of it. Alright, so I wasn't able to get the center console mounting system put in. Having a little bit of issues with it. I'm probably gonna have to tweak with it pretty heavy. The bends and the contours that it came with don't quite fit, and the mounting locations don't fit. So I'm gonna have to. I got to get my dash all put back together. I'll show you what I got going on there. So a couple things I did. I should have showed you, but I was having some issues with my HVAC controls. The fan speed was not working, only on high, and I was having some issues with these buttons not really lighting up or really doing much of anything. And so what I did, I took it all apart and pretty much just took I have a pretty high quality soldering iron and went on the board and all the resistors. On most vehicles in general, the solder joints will actually like kind of vibrate loose. So I just went through, resoldered them all the joints that kind of didn't seem like they had enough solder, I added a little bit, and came back and tested it out, and sure enough, works like a charm. So so yeah, but here's what I got going on for gauges. So I got, one's going to be for engine temperature and one's going to be for exhaust temperature, and mounted it to a G10 black, I think it's fiberglass plate. I also added in a little USB port there. It also acts as a voltmeter as well. So I think the fit and finish came out pretty well. I used the existing little cubby hole that was there, and just epoxied the plate to it, cut out some pockets for the gauges in the USB port, and then put it back in there using the stock mounting brackets. And I think it looks, aesthetically, it looks pretty good. You know, they're kind of old school looking gauges, and I think it's going to fit very well with the rest of the outdated vehicle. So let me get back to putting this in. I'm still kind of fighting with everything, trying to figure it out as I go. And yeah, I'll show you here in just a few. Alright, well, I'm pretty satisfied with the outcome, other than the mounting bracket, the modular mounting bracket that goes above the bezel. It kind of blocks the view of the buttons. Let's see, you know, it's kind of like my perspective right there. It hangs over, but it is a very useful ordeal, because I do have this ram mount. I'll be mounting it right about there, so my phone can sit right there in plain view. I will be cutting this thing up, so I can still use it as a cup holder, and it'll give me access to view the buttons for the HVAC system. But all in all, it came out pretty nice. I got my USB ports there, got my 2 gauges. Still got a little cubby hole, and then I took out the cigarette lighter down here to pull my cable through for my the aux beam 6-gang switch panel, which will be mounting to that once I get it figured out. So I'm gonna get working on that for Run Out of Daylight and see what comes of all this. Alright, so I finally got to get on the freeway and test out all the mods here to see if this thing's gonna stay cool and drive real nice, and yeah, it does.